Hello everyone, this is Timothy with A Key to Spain, and in this YouTube channel I talk about my experience being an American immigrant in Spain, including my experience of logistically and bureaucratically moving to Spain. Again, I'm not an immigration attorney, but I'm just sharing some information and my experience. I also in this channel talk about some interesting things about Spain in terms of visiting, life, scenery, food, etc. But in this video, I want to talk about how perhaps you as an American or a Canadian, perhaps Australian if you're from that continent watching this video, how you all could potentially move to Spain without a visa, and the key is inside your family tree. So this right here is the real London Bridge. It was imported brick by brick from London about 50 years ago, just over 50 years ago, and they shipped it across the Atlantic through the Panama Canal and then by truck from California to here in Arizona. So what does London Bridge have to do with you, your ancestry, and the ability to move to Spain? Well, like this bridge, many of your ancestors came over here by boat. Here meaning the United States of America in general, not just Arizona. And so the topic of this video is about citizenship by descent, specifically from European countries that have freedom of movement agreements with Spain. So the reason why I even mentioned this topic is because for you, if you are interested in moving to Spain, you could avoid the bureaucratic hurdles of trying to get a visa or trying to find out which visa you're even eligible to get if your dream is to move to Spain to work remotely or retire or study, etc. So many of my viewers are Americans of European descent, and let me tell you that many of these countries in Europe offer citizenship by descent, meaning that if your parent, some cases grandparents, and in a few cases great-grandparents are from said country, then that country will offer you citizenship by descent without having to live there. So some examples that I can think off the top of my head are Ireland, where if you have a grandparent, not any further, but a grandparent who is born in the island of Ireland, including Northern Ireland, you are eligible to register yourself with the Irish government. I believe Poland, in the case of Poland, because I know there are many Polish Americans, you can go as far back as around 1918, 1920. Though there's technically no generational limit, your ancestor from Poland has to meet a few qualifications in terms of the paper trail. I know Slovakia, you can go back to a great-grandparent. Lithuania, I believe you can go back to a great-grandparent. Greece, I don't think there's a generational limit. Italy, they just imposed a limit on grandparents. And France, I think in some cases you can go from a grandparent, but it really depends. Portugal, I know you can go back to a grandparent, including the Azores Islands. Spain, I believe it's now just from a parent, although I believe that you can get it from a grandparent under certain circumstances. Again, my point is that, for example, if you as somebody born in the United States, you are able to some reason get Italian, Irish, Portuguese, Greek, Maltese, Slovak, Polish citizenship by descent, etc. If you have one of those nationalities, you are allowed to move to Spain freely without a work visa. You would just have to register yourself in a municipal register and get a foreigner identification number of some type. But the process would certainly be much simpler for you versus having to go through the process of getting a visa. I can certainly attest to that as somebody who had to go through the process of getting a Spanish visa as a non-EU citizen. So now you're probably thinking, oh wow, that's really interesting. I didn't think of looking at my family tree in order to see if I'm eligible for another citizenship. And that's going to be my advice now, is go to Ancestry.com or talk to your family members, look through your family tree, see if you have any ancestors who were recently born in a European country. Now, you can't go back to like the 1700s or like the founding of America and claim citizenship by descent from England, for example. That's just not going to work. But if you have more recent ancestry, you can look to see how many generations ago it was and take a look at the country's nationality law to see if you are eligible to apply for that citizenship. Because if you are able, as an American or as a Canadian or as an Australian, to get a European Union citizenship or citizenship from Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, which have a freedom of movement compact with the European Union countries, then that would help your move to Spain significantly. So then in a future video, in a follow-up video, I'm going to talk about how moving to Spain could actually be, in a sense, beneficial for you if you are an American or a Canadian or Australian who also holds Filipino or a Latin American country's passport. In other words, a dual citizen of the Philippines or a Latin American country, and the benefits of moving to Spain with that. So I hope you guys like this video. Feel free to leave a comment and please subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.